Welcome to South Florida as we are here in Miami. The Marlins were founded in 1993 and it only took them 4 years to win their first World Series, and then they won their second one 6 years later. However, those are the only two playoff appearances, and they haven't been to the playoffs since 2003 and still have never won a division title. They went 63 and 98 last year and have seen another rebranding this offseason. Under new ownership and managements, the Marlins have seen their stars shipped off and are now looking for that stability that they have been lacking since their founding. So in the new rebranding, there's no more of the Marlins statue in center field, some new uniforms for the players. But the Marlins have seen one of the best outfields in recent memory shipped out with Yelich, Ozuna, and Giancarlo Stanton. JT Realmuto traded in the offseason, and D. Gordon was also traded a couple of years ago as well. So not a lot of talent on the Major League roster, but now we will get into the franchise. I'm excited to get this series underway, and we'll now meet some of the players on the roster. So this, like I said, not the most talented roster at the top and throughout the whole roster as a whole. Starlin Castro is the highest rated player at second base. He's a good contact hitter, a decent enough fielder, and he was traded as a part of the Giancarlo Stanton deal. At 29, he could definitely be a guy we look to trade at the trade deadline. Brian Anderson was a nice surprise last year with some Rookie of the Year contention at points. Some nice positional flexibility. Only 25 years old, so definitely one of the key building blocks for the Marlins to start out, as he could be an all-star third baseman in a couple of years. And the bullpen, we have Drew Steckenrider. He's 28 years old. He made his longest stint last year with a 3.9 ERA. He's 6'5", a righty, and a decent enough option as either a guy in the 8th inning or as a closer. Included in the JT Realmuto deal, we got our catcher back, and that is Jorge Alfaro. He's 25, hit .262 last year for the Phillies. He has a huge arm and is another nice young building block. The pitching staff may be the most exciting part of this team to start out. Trevor Richards, only 25 years old, made his way from the Frontier League. He has a lot more player control for us and throws a great changeup. Gotten in the Marcell Ozuna trade, we have Sandy Alcantara. He is great stuff, only 23 years old and has to develop and not walk as many people. Lewis Brinson saw his first long-time action in the bigs last year, 109 games, but hit below the Mendoza line, and we need some strides out of him. However, he is only 24 and could still develop into a good player. Tayron Guerrero, maybe a guy who could develop into a great place in our bullpen. He throws over 100 miles an hour. He got his first real action in the big leagues last year and definitely struggled at times. Now we look at the top prospects in baseball, as this is something that's very key in building a franchise. You can see we have the number 23rd overall prospect, and that is Sixto Sanchez, who was also acquired from the Phillies and the JT Realmuto deal. Only 20 years old, has at times had comparisons to Pedro Martinez. He has a high velocity fastball and great stuff overall, and we could see him in the big leagues at some point. Signed out of Cuba this offseason, Victor Mesa, a center fielder at 22 years old. He is a good runner and a pretty good fielder at this point, but has to develop as a hitter to stay in the major leagues. Nick Neidert, he's 21 years old. He's more of control and break type of righty compared to Sixto Sanchez. Isan Diaz is a guy who could see the majors this year. He was acquired in the Christian Yelich deal, 22, and overall just a very well-rounded player. And then the final prospect we'll look at is Monte Harrison, another guy in the Yelich deal. He has good speed, a decent enough fielder, and could develop into a good power hitter, but he's a good bit away from the actual majors. So this is a team that doesn't have a lot of talent on the major league roster. The farm system is middling at best, so it's going to be a tough rebuild. We're going to have to make some smart choices in free agency and in the draft. But now looking at our lineup, you can see Curtis Granderson against righties will lead off, Anderson in the 2-hole, and Lewis Brinson hitting 8th. The bench features Prado, Walich, Riddle, and Herrera. And then against lefties, Lewis Brinson will lead off. He led off last year and really struggled. We're hoping for a strong sophomore year from him, though, and hopefully he can turn it around and be the prospect that a lot of people thought he was. A look at the starting rotation, like I said, it's one of the most positive things really about this team at this point. There's a lot of young guys who have a lot of potential, and hopefully they can show out this year and we can get something good going. The division and the National League East, it's one of the toughest divisions in baseball, especially this year. I would say it's the toughest with all those contenders, 4 teams that really could contend for the NL pennant. A look at our first game, we'll be taking on Colorado, and we will get into opening day in today's episode at home against the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies were a playoff team last year and feature a very strong lineup headlined by Nolan Arenado, so it'll be a good test for the ace of our staff, or at least the opening day starter, Jose Urena. He'll get a chance to really see how he fares against one of the better lineups in baseball against Kyle Freeland. It'll be fun to see this team take the field as we begin our build to something special. Let me know in the comments down below which players are you most excited for and which players do you think have the best chance to be stars for us. We saw a little bit of the minor league team and of the major league players. We'll meet more of them as this game goes along. Our defensive linemen, you can see there, Garrett Cooper in right field, Brinson and Granderson fill out the outfield, and Jorge Alfaro behind the plate. The lineup for the Rockies features David Dahl, Charlie Blackmon, Nolan Arenado, Trevor Story, Mark Reynolds, Ian Desmond, a lot of talented hitters. Garrett Hampson will lead off though. He's a speedy second baseman, as Urena's first pitch of the season is a ball, a slider on the outside. 1-0, the pitch is hit and it's over the head of Martin Prado into right field. Garrett Cooper is there, he'll throw it in, and it will be a leadoff single for the Rockies. Dahl will hit it back up the middle. Urena gloves it to the second baseman and can't turn 2 as the throw is not in time, a fielder's choice. That ball is hit by Charlie Blackmon, and there's a great play by Starlin Castro, not really known for his defense, but that's a gold glove type play, and now it'll be Arenado up. There's a nasty slider, and then the 2-seam at the bottom of the zone is called for a strike 3, and Urena will escape with no damage done. Our offense will come onto the field now, as it'll be Lewis Brinson, Brian Anderson, Starlin Castro, Garrett Cooper, Martin Prado, Jorge Alfaro, Miguel Rojas, and Curtis Granderson. They'll face off against Kyle Freeland, one of the better young pitchers in the majors, at ERA under 3 last year. Brinson with 11 homers last year, but hit under 200. He will lead off and gets a nice call there for ball 1. Now it's 2-0. He'll swing at this one, and it goes to the second baseman, Hampson, who's able to throw it to Reynolds for the first out. Now Anderson up. He hits it, and that'll go to right center field. It's a hard hit ball, and the center fielder will be able to get it and glove it for the second out. Starlin Castro up now. He hits it, another hard contact, as that will go back, and he'll get out of here. There's the first run on the season and the first homer, a solo home run for Starlin Castro, as we have a 1-0 lead. He'll celebrate with his teammates in the dugout. Castro is a guy who could potentially be traded at the trade deadline. He's in the final year of his contract, as here's another hard hit ball. But Castro he won't be on this team for very long. He's getting older and could provide some good value and some nice prospects. We move into the second. There's a high fly to center field. Lewis Brinson will go back. He gets under it and records the first out of the inning. Urena with an 0-1 count. The pitch is hammered, and it'll go deep to center field. Brinson there, and on the warning track, he just loses it in the sun. So Mark Reynolds will have a double, and just an error there from Lewis Brinson. Now another hard hit ball. Brinson has a chance on this one, and this time he will make the play for the final out. Brinson should turn into a pretty good fielder with his speed. It'll be Martin Prado up though, as he hits that one to the left field, and it will be a leadoff single. 1-1 count pitch from Freeland. Alfaro hits this one hard. It'll go to left field, and he misses it. So the ball actually goes over the fence, and it's a ground rule double. So we'll have 2 runners in scoring position. If we just kept going that and it didn't go over the wall, that might have been a run scored from Prado. Instead, it'll be runners on second and third. There's a pass ball, will send the runner home, and Prado will be out at the plate, not close at all. That ball bounced back much quicker than I thought it would. Next, it'll be Miguel Rojas up. That ball is hit into left field and will send Alfaro home. He will be safe at home as there is a 2-0 lead. Alfaro has pretty decent speed for a catcher. The final out of the inning is made by Trevor Story, as we'll go to the top of the third. Urania strikes out Hampson, a nice slider there. To the bottom of the third now, it'll be Lewis Brinson up, and he goes down swinging a nasty changeup from Freeland. To the top of the fourth, there's a good pitch as Arenado swings through the fastball up in the zone. Garrett Cooper up as we'll look to do some damage in the bottom of the fourth. That ball will get down in front of the right fielder as it's a leadoff single for Garrett Cooper. He got the opening day start in right field. He got the opening day start last year, but was hurt for most of the year. And it will be a double play though, as Prado is doubled up. Now Alfaro up. It's a 1-0 count. He hits that one to center field, hits it pretty hard. Going back is Ian Desmond, who will track it down for the final out of the inning. 4 hits for the Marlins, only 2 for the Rockies, as there's a nice strikeout on Kyle Freeland. Man on second though, Hampson up. That ball will fall in front of Granderson. They'll send the runner, and Granderson's throw is not in time, so it will be the first run on the season for the Rockies. Urania has a 2-1 count. That ball is hit after a stolen base, and that will be the final out of the inning. We escape with no more damage done. To the top of the 6th, Arenado up. He hits that one into left field and gets his first hit, as Urania at 82 pitches so far. Now 88, and he gets the strikeout, a nice slider once again. As you can see, his pitch count was getting up, so we will send in Adam Conley. He made 52 appearances last year with an ERA just over 4. With 2 outs, he gets strike 1 on the fastball, and now the 0-2 count, and he did go, so it will be a strikeout, and we will escape with the lead intact. Now we go to the next inning. Conley will only face 1 batter as Tayron Guerrero will come in the top of the 7th. He throws a nasty fastball, can reach up to 101 miles per hour. Now the 3-2 count, that ball is lifted to center field. Lewis Brinson is under it for the first out of the inning. Now a 1-2 count, pitch is away, and it is strike 3, a fastball low in the zone, but definitely was a strike. You can see we have some other pitchers warming up in the bullpen as we reach the top of the 8th. As this ball is grounded to first base, Prado has trouble with it. Will throw to Guerrero, but the runner does beat it out. Hampson has a lot of speed, so it is an error for Prado. Now Prado knocks that one down, but still having trouble, and this time the flip is in time, not the same amount of speed for that hitter. 0-1 count, that ball is hit into left field, and Hampson will just not be able to get the third. So 2 outs for Nolan Arenado. He's 1 for 3 on the day. His last at-bat was a single, and Guerrero will face him. A high fastball at 100 miles an hour. 0-1 count. Next pitch is down the middle at 101, so it'll be a 1-2 count. The slider is crushed, and it will get out of here. Arenado has his first homer of the year, and the Rockies take the 3-2 lead in the top of the 8th. We may have just left Guerrero in 1 batter too long, thought he was pitching very well and thought he could get through Arenado. Instead, we're bringing in Drew Steckenrider for his first appearance, as he'll look to get the final out of the inning. This one is skied into center field. Brinson will be under it, and that is the final out. But now we will go to the bottom of the 8th with a 1-run deficit. Nero Walker will pinch hit for Steckenrider, and the first pitch, it gets away on the strikeout, and they will throw it to first base, and that will end the inning. So we'll now go to the bottom of the 9th. Wade Davis will come in, one of the better closers in baseball. He will face Lewis Brinson to start out. He's 0 for 3 on the day. A hit here would be huge. Instead, he pops it up to second base for the first out. Now Brian Anderson up. He looks at a fastball low in the zone. It'll be a 1-2 count. That ball is lifted, and it will be tracked down by the right fielder, Charlie Blackmon. And now 1 out away from an opening day loss. Castro will swing on the 0-1. The center fielder, Desmond, comes and he gets under it. And that will be the final out as Nolan Arenado hits the game-winning home run off Tayron Guerrero. Our offense looked good to start the game and really quieted down after that first couple of runs in the first 2 innings. We had a run in each, and only 4 hits on the day. We were able to escape a couple of jams that the Rockies put us in, but Nolan Arenado just had that and crushed that slider, a line drive over the fence, and we will suffer the opening day loss. But I hope you did enjoy today's episode. If you did, please leave a like down below. Subscribe for more of the Marlins franchise. Going to be a lot more of this coming soon. Comment your thoughts on the series and any feedback you have. But I will see you for episode 2, 'cause I'm out.